Welcome to Commanders Daily, everybody. It's your one-stop shop for everything going on with the Burgundy and Gold. I'm Bob Matthews. Don't forget, hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss an episode. It is Victory Formation Monday. Commanders win 21-6 against the Giants at Northwest Stadium yesterday, getting the season off to a good start. So let's talk about some, hot takes, instant analysis, whatever you want to call it, from week one. Coming up a little bit later in the week, of course, we're going to dive into things a little more deeply. We're going to do this throughout the season. We'll look at the All-22 tape. We'll check out the PFF grades, listen to what Dan Quinn and the players have to say, the whole thing. But right now, tonight, or this afternoon, today, it's just a little bit of instant analysis. So, first thing that I noticed was, for week one, pretty good. And while both sides of the ball, I think specifically the offense, didn't look as sharp as it should have, you really have to be impressed with the fact that even though there were a bunch of little things that they have to clean up, still won the game and really were in control throughout it. Now, admittedly, it got a little, dicey there in the fourth quarter when it was a one-score game, but only because of the fact that the Commanders pretty much had dominated the whole day. Jaden Daniels was not as sharp as we've seen him in the past. That was the bad news yesterday. The good news was that he still racked up 301 yards of total offense. So if you're going to do that on an off day, I'd say that's not too bad. And yeah, even though the Giants are a tire fire, they've got some pretty decent pieces in certain places on both sides of the ball. So I really thought that despite the fact that, it was a one-score game into the fourth quarter, I thought it was a really solid performance for a team with a bunch of starters that just, didn't get any action in the preseason. This was really their first significant playing time since that scrimmage against the Patriots back in training camp. So Jaden's numbers on the day: 19 of 30, 233 yards, one touchdown, no interceptions. Offensive line did give up 3 sacks, and Josh Connerly, I think, was responsible for. I think he was kind of in on at least 2 of them, maybe 3. But again, the Giants have a pretty good defensive line, so and overall, I thought Connerly played well for his first start. So it doesn't concern me too much if he was a little shaky at times against the Giants' defensive line. Again, I'm really going to be interested to look at the coach's tape tomorrow and see exactly, and look at it a little more in depth. One of the things that I was really thrilled with these next 3 things that we're going to talk about here. So let's start with the defensive line. You know that Adam Peters and Dan Quinn and Joe Witt put a lot of work into the defensive line in the offseason, signing Javon Kinlaw, Dietrich Wise, last year drafting Johnny Newton. They really tried to beef up the defensive line, and man, oh man, it paid some serious dividends on Sunday. So the Giants ran for a grand total of 74 yards, and 44 of those came from Russell Wilson scrambling. They also sacked Russ. They also sacked Russ twice. And how about the play of Daron Payne on the defensive line? He had a sack and a half, 2 passes that he batted down. I mean, one of the best games he's played in quite a while. He was kind of quiet last season. I really think he is going to benefit from this new, the new style of defensive line that they're playing. And one of the other things that you noticed, or maybe didn't notice, was that, that the interior of that defensive line played so well. They didn't have to lean on Von Miller. In fact, you barely heard of him. He made 1 tackle. And that's okay. He is going to be needed, as we go deep into the season. The fact that he didn't have to play a huge amount of snaps, that he didn't have to be involved in a huge number of tackles and stuff, that's good. for this time of the year. Don't want to burn him out early. Bobby Wagner had a fantastic day, led the team with 10 tackles, 5 of them solo, and that's exactly what you want from your strong side line, but from your Mike linebacker like that. That's what those big guys up front are supposed to do, clog all the lanes and let Wagner and Frankie Louvu make the tackles. All right, next guy that I was really, really pleased with. Again, it's pretty obvious, but Deebo Samuel. Dude came up big. Debut game here with the Commanders. Led all receivers with 7 receptions, 10 targets, 77 yards, 21-yard was the long one. And, of course, the big play, the Jets, the end around, the 19-yard end around that he scored his first touchdown as Commander on. And that basically put the game out of reach. Again, another instance of of one of the offseason acquisitions, not just paying dividends, but paying dividends right off the bat. It's not something we have been used to in the nation's capital the last 2.5, 3 decades or so. Zach Ertz was also steady. Did drop a couple, did have a couple of drops, but he also had a couple that were thrown behind him by Jaden. Like I said, Jaden not as sharp today as he's been in the past, but hey, it's week 1. He's not going to do anything but get better. Also thought Noah Brown looked good, had a couple of catches, 3 targets, and you got to love how, Jaden spread it around. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys caught balls. I'm sorry, 7 guys caught passes. He spread it around to 8 of them. And hey, how about Bill Merritt with a touchdown and 82 yards rushing? And, again, that's why they got rid of Brian Robinson, or felt like they could, just because of that. And he is the third guy that I really liked. Again, led all rushers with 82 yards. That big, 25-yard run or so. I'm sorry, 42-yard run. I shortchanged him about 20 yards. But that big 42-yard run was what effectively, clinched the game, put it on ice there late in the ball game. Funny story, I was listening to some of the post-game sound when he scored the touchdown. Actually, once again, forgot to get the ball to keep. Terry McLaurin wound up getting it for him. That's how he said. That's how excited he was. He completely blacked out and blanked on it. But I mean, from that standpoint, you got to love it. Couldn't have been a better debut for him. Like the way Austin Eckler ran as well, and Chris Rodriguez looked good in the few carries that he had. So, when you get right down to it, it was, I don't want to say sloppy, but there were some missed opportunities. I felt like they left about 17 points on the field. You can't like the miscue there at the end of the first half. But again, first week of the season, and they got the win, so that's really all that matters. They're 1-0 now, which is good because short week going up to Green Bay. The team will leave on Wednesday to fly to Lambeau for Thursday night's game. Coming up tomorrow, by tomorrow we ought to have the PFF grades, and hopefully we'll have done at least a little bit of homework on the All-22, do a little bit deeper dive into folks' performances, let you know if there were any major injuries. Looks like they came out of it pretty clean, so we will have to wait and see. But all in all, a great first week for the Burgundy and Gold, 1-0, and now it's on to Green Bay. See you again tomorrow. Remember, like and subscribe, drop a comment, give me your thoughts on the game. We'll talk about that tomorrow, too. And, like the wise man once said, if you're out on your bike tonight, as always, do wear white.